What are spiritual parasites? Well, spiritual parasites are exactly what they sound like. They're entities that are parasitic. Technically, entity is an umbrella term and it just means a spirit. When I say entity, I almost always mean negative. And when I say spirit, I guess I use spirit as an umbrella term. I'm often using it as positive, but sometimes I'm not. um, so if it's parasitic, right, it's feeding off of you. It's getting something out of the relationship and you're not getting anything out of it. So it's feeding off of your energy. It could be feeding off of your energy in general. It could be feeding off of your fear, of your grief. Could be feeding off of your addiction. That is something that happens. So like addicts tend to have a lot of entities, and addicts also tend to have a lot of ghosts, and they often have ghosts in their energy field who are addicts, and so that's why like bars tend to be really full of entities because there are ghosts who are addicts who like want to be in someone's energy field to like get their fix, and they can actually motivate people to continue drinking or continue doing drugs. And so that's sometimes why people have such a hard time stopping. Obviously, there's physical addiction too, psychological addiction, like all of the other reasons, but sometimes that is part of why people have trouble stopping because there are ghosts in their energy field that are really pushing them to continue because the ghost is getting like the experience of getting high or getting drunk off of the person doing it. And there's also a lot of other types of entities in bars or really like any type of place that's seedy. I'm not saying a bar is necessarily seedy, but they like to be there. And the seedier the bar, the more there's going to be. And then the entities that are there, well, they're easier to hop into people when people are intoxicated. So that's another reason why they're there because it's easier to get into people. But there's going to be other types of entities that are there as well because they like feeding off of people. Well, they like feeding off people in general, but they like to feed off of people that have addictions. They know it's easy to feed off of them. They might like the feeling of their addiction. They might be getting something out of a myriad of emotions and experiences that these people are having. So, if you don't want to have those experiences, but you end up going to bars a lot, maybe for work, maybe you work in a bar, anything like that, you definitely want to be taking protection, and making sure that you're doing regular cleanses and checking yourself because even if you're doing a lot of protection, you still might end up taking some home every once in a while. Um, and if you don't love bars, but maybe you end up going to them out of like obligation a lot anyway, maybe don't do that, just because they're not like spiritually, they're not a very clean place. And you want to be considering your spiritual hygiene a lot